Hey everyone, it's Afty, and in this tutorial series we're going to take you from zero to hero for the Black Shark 2 in DCS World. So first things first, we're going to have to go into the controls menu and make sure we got all that set up so we can control the Black Shark like a boss. So let's get started. Alright, so we're in the settings menu under controls. We're going to make sure we're on the KA50 sim, and first thing we're going to look at is the axis commands. So the first thing you can see that I have bound here is the Shkval horizontal slew and vertical slew. So what this does is it operates the camera on the front, so panning it left and right and panning it up and down. So you're going to want to bind this on like a POV hat or something that's like an analog stick that you see on Xbox, that's either on your stick or your throttle. Next is the collective. So this is what you're going to bind your thrust to, I guess you can call it. So when you increase the collective, what you're doing is applying more power per se. So you're going to have the aircraft or the Black Shark climb in altitude and increase in speed. And when you bring it down, it's like bringing down the thrust, then you'll start to fall toward the ground and slow down. And there is axis tune on this. So I have a dead zone set at 0, saturation X and Y at 100, and a curve of 11. Next is the pitch, similar to like a plane. This is going to control your nose up and down. I have an axis tune on this for dead zone of 0, saturation at 100 for X, 85 for Y, and 21 curve. Cyclic roll, you can think of this as your aileron, so banking left and right. Axis tune on this as well, 0, 100, 85, and 21. So rudder, you're familiar with the airplane. It's essentially the same thing. I have a dead zone set at 0, saturation X and Y at 100, and a curve of 14. Throttle. So this is for engine power. This could be bound on a lever that's not really used if you have a spare lever, because really when you're flying the Black Shark it's really going to be set at one setting the whole time. So if you're like me and you have a split throttle, I have my throttle on the left engine or the left throttle axis, and I have the collective on the right throttle axis, so I can operate them independently if needed. And next we'll go on to the regular buttons. So we're going to come to all. I'm going to scroll down here. So these are optional. These ones here: autopilot, altitude hold, bank hold, flight director, heading hold, and pitch hold. These can be just pushed on and off in the cockpit on the right hand side, or you can bind them if you have some free buttons. Targeting mode reset, this is a key one to bind. So this is going to reset, let's say you're firing your gun or missiles and you got the Shkval screen on, and now you want to get away fast and you want to reset the HUD and turn the screen off so it's not blinding you, and you get all the navigation markers on the HUD. You just hit this button and it resets it back to default. Cockpit door open and close. So you're going to need to know this key bind when you cold start, because the door is going to be open. So just keep in mind that right control C would open and close the door, or if you have a free button on your throttle or joystick, you can bind it. Communications menu is an optional bind. I just have it for easier access than fumbling with the keyboard. engage descent mode and route mode. We'll get more into that in the navigation part of the tutorial. So we got gear lever. So you can see why I have two different binds is because I have one, I guess, switch that goes up and down. So I'm just muscle memory of switch goes up, gear goes up, switch goes down, gears goes down. So I got it bound that way. So either way works. Gunfire. This is when you want to fire the 30mm cannon. You're going to want to just bind this on the trigger button. Gun select. So when you want to use the gun, you're going to have to push this button to make the gun selected so you can fire it. Helmet mounted system. So the Black Shark has a helmet mounted sight. So you can bind this as a button, or you can click the lever in the cockpit. Auto hover. You're going to want to get this bound so it's easy to select auto hover on and off. Lock target. So when you're finding targets on the Schwal screen and you find a target and you want to lock it up, you press and hold this button. Weapons release. So when you want to fire a missile or a rocket, this is the button you're going to be using. Rotor brake. This is a key one. I don't know why it's got a big red exclamation mark. But essentially when you have, let's say, you're in an auto hover and you need to peek up a little bit over the trees, but since you're in auto hover, it won't let you go up and down. It'll try to keep you in the one place. So you're going to push and hold the rotor brake, and then you're going to increase the collective, and it'll bypass the autopilot system and increase your altitude when you're giving it more collective, and then you're going to release the rotor brake and it'll save the position you're in, so you don't have to reset the auto hover system from the start. Schwal narrow view and wide view. So this is like your zoom. So it's got two zoom levels, like 23 times and the regular 7 times. You want to make sure those two are bound. Trim control, you're going to want to make sure that this is bound for sure. So this is a very key button when operating the Black Shark. So when you're going to be doing a maneuver, or let's say even trying to fly the thing straight, you're going to need to hold this trimmer button down, move your stick to where you want it to be. So let's say pitch down so you can go forward. Once you have it set to how you want it, you let go of the trimmer, and if you have the autopilot system on, it's going to hold it there. If you want to bank left or right, you're going to want to hold the trimmer button. You're going to bank the stick over, execute your turn, reset back to straight, and then let go of the trimmer button. We'll get more in depth with this in the operation tutorial coming up. Trimmer reset is essentially what it says it is. When you have your trim set, like you could make like 30 different trim things, and you want to set it so it's back to center, just hit this button. TV target frame size, decrease and increase. So on the Schwal screen, you're going to have a little box in the middle. So what this box is it helps you lock the target, so it takes the contrast of what's around the screen. So let's say if there's a tank, you want to increase that box so it's just large enough to fit the tank in. And if there's a soldier on the ground, you want to shrink it down so it just covers the soldier, so it can lock the target easier. Uncage Schwal. So when you want to turn the Schwal camera on, you hit this button. Start dispensing and stop dispensing for the UV-26. So these are your countermeasures for flares. So you can hold it down to fire off a bunch of flares, or one at a time. I usually just have start dispensing. I never use stop dispensing because I just do them one at a time. weapon select all stations, inward stations and outward stations. So what this is that you have two stations on the wings of the Black Shark. So the two outer ones you can select. Let's say if you got the Vickers missiles on the outward stations, you want to select the outward stations to fire them, you hit this button. Or if you want to use the rockets or whatever's on the inward stations, you want to select this. Or if you want to fire all four at the same time, you hit the weapons stations all. Wheel brake, similar to a plane. Just when you're taxiing, you want to slow down. Zoom in slow and zoom out slow. So this is zooming in your camera, in and out. You want to make sure those are bound. Next, we're going to go over to the special menu. So we're going to come over here to KA50. If you don't have rudder pedals and you have a twist stick, you want to make sure that this rudder trimmer is selected. This will help you out immensely if you don't have rudder pedals. Trimmer mode, default, customized cockpit. You want to make sure it's in English if you're English. And that's it. So in the next tutorial, we're going to go over the cold start procedure. So we're going to take you from 0 to hero. So let's go on to the next video.